Before you scroll past, I want to ask you something. When was the last time someone checked on you, really checked on you? Not a quick, "How are you doing?" but a moment where someone waited for your answer, listened, and cared. Because here's the quiet truth, the one few dare to talk about. Every year, thousands of seniors living alone never make it to their 80th birthday. Not because of illness, not because of accidents, but because of something much quieter. Something that hides in the spaces between silence and solitude. It's loneliness. And the heartbreaking part, many of them never saw it coming. Today, we're uncovering what really happens when seniors live alone for too long. The emotional, physical, and psychological effects that few want to admit. But don't worry, this isn't a story about fear. It's a story about awareness, healing, and hope. Because understanding this could save your life, or the life of someone you love. Her name is Marjorie Lane, 79 years old. She lives in a quiet suburban neighborhood in Ohio. White hair carefully brushed back every morning, a soft cardigan always hanging on her shoulders. Her husband, Harold, passed away 8 years ago. Since then, her home has become both her sanctuary and her cage. At first, she thought she was doing fine. A cup of tea at 7, her crossword at 10, and a phone call from her daughter every Sunday. But something began to shift. She stopped cooking real meals. The TV became her only companion. And somewhere between her birthday candles and the quiet nights, she began to lose herself. Marjorie didn't realize that living alone wasn't just about being independent. It was slowly becoming dangerous. Before we dive deeper, I want to ask you, do you live alone? Or maybe your mom, dad, or an elderly neighbor does. If you do, stay with me. Because what I'm about to share might just open your eyes to what's really going on behind closed doors. And if any part of Marjorie's story feels familiar, please let us know in the comments below. You never know who you might help by sharing. Because as we'll discover, it's not just about being alone. It's about what happens inside the mind, the body, and the heart when silence becomes your only company. When Marjorie wakes up, the first thing she hears is silence. No kettle whistling, no voice calling her name, no footsteps down the hallway. Just silence. She sits by the window and watches the neighborhood come alive. Joggers, delivery trucks, kids waiting for the school bus. Life keeps moving, but hers stays still. And here's what many people don't realize. That silence, that stillness, slowly begins to affect more than just the heart. It begins to reshape the body and the brain. 1. The physical impact of loneliness. Doctors have discovered something remarkable. That loneliness can be as deadly as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It weakens the immune system, raises blood pressure, and accelerates memory loss. When you live alone for too long, your body starts to interpret the quiet as danger. It triggers stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline, even when there's no threat around. Your heart beats faster. Your sleep becomes restless. Your mind begins to whisper that something isn't right, even when everything seems fine. And over time, this quiet stress begins to wear you down, slowly, invisibly. That's what happened to Marjorie. First, she just felt tired. Then came the headaches. Then came the days when she didn't feel like getting out of bed. She told her doctor, "It's probably just old age." But what she didn't know was that it wasn't her body giving up. It was her spirit growing weary of isolation. 2. The emotional weight of silence. Living alone is supposed to be peaceful. But after a while, peace begins to feel like emptiness. There's no one to say, "Good morning." No one to share a meal with. No laughter, no arguments, no reason to dress up. And slowly, that emptiness becomes a habit. You stop expecting connection and start accepting loneliness as normal. Psychologists call this the emotional fade. It's when a person begins to disconnect emotionally from life itself. And here's the scary part. Once that fade begins, it's hard to bring the color back. Marjorie's daughter noticed it during a video call one Sunday. Her mother's face looked distant, like she was there but not really there. She said, "Mom, when's the last time you went out?" Marjorie smiled faintly. "Oh, I went to the store last week." But the truth? She hadn't left her home in 12 days. 3. The mind begins to forget. Memory thrives on connection. Every conversation, every shared laugh, every hug, they strengthen the brain. But when the world becomes too quiet, the mind begins to lose its rhythm. Forgets names, faces, dates, sometimes even purpose. Scientists call this cognitive decline through social isolation. It's real, and it's happening faster than most realize. But it's not hopeless, because there's one powerful truth hidden beneath all this. The mind can heal through connection. Even one phone call, one visit, or one kind word can spark something inside a lonely heart. That's what happened when Marjorie met Evelyn, her neighbor. Evelyn was 83, bold, funny, and full of stories. She knocked on Marjorie's door one afternoon and said, "I baked too many cookies. I need your help eating them." It was the first time in weeks Marjorie had laughed. And that simple act, a shared cookie, a shared moment, began to bring her back to life. They say time heals all wounds. But what if time is the wound? When the days grow quiet, when no one checks in, and when dinner becomes a lonely routine, something begins to change deep inside a senior's heart. It's not just sadness. It's a slow fading of purpose. 1. The turning point. Marjorie's story continues. Marjorie began noticing small things. Her favorite mug felt heavier, her legs weaker, and yet she told herself, "I'm fine. Just getting old." But one night, she woke up on the kitchen floor. She had slipped while reaching for a cup of tea. No one heard her fall. Her phone was on the counter, far away. For hours she lay there, whispering prayers into the darkness. It wasn't until morning that Evelyn knocked again, saying, "Marjorie, you didn't open the curtains today. Are you okay?" That knock saved her life. But not everyone gets that knock. 2. The hidden crisis of seniors living alone. Every year, thousands of seniors never make it to their 80th birthday. Not because of disease, but because of disconnection. Falls go unnoticed. Heart attacks happen in silence. Medication errors slip through the cracks. And the most dangerous of all, the quiet decision to stop trying. Many seniors slowly lose the will to live. Not out of despair, but out of exhaustion. They say things like, "I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to bother anyone. I'll be fine." But behind those words is a deeper truth. A longing for someone to say, "You matter. I still need you here." When that reassurance never comes, loneliness becomes fatal. 3. The science behind the sadness. Medical researchers have a name for this. Social death before physical death. It happens when the heart stops connecting long before the body gives up. And here's what's shocking. Once isolation sets in, the brain begins to rewire itself for survival, not joy. It becomes alert, anxious, and defensive. In other words, the body prepares for danger that never comes. That constant stress weakens immunity, shortens sleep, and leads to heart complications. So when we say, "Some never make it to 80, it's not just fate, it's physiology. 4. The hope hidden in connection. But here's the miracle. The same brain that grows dim in isolation can light up again through connection. Marjorie recovered. She began walking outside daily with Evelyn. She joined a small community center where seniors met every Wednesday for coffee and conversation. And with each shared story, her laughter returned. One day she said, "I didn't realize how much I missed hearing my own laughter. It was like watching a flower bloom again after years in the shade." 5. The lesson for all of us. Maybe you're watching this and you live alone. Or maybe you have a parent, a neighbor, or an old friend who does. Reach out today. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Today. Because loneliness doesn't knock loudly. It whispers quietly until it takes over. A single phone call can save a life. A visit can reignite hope. A conversation can add years to someone's future. Marjorie once said, "Evelyn didn't just bring me cookies. She brought me back." 6. the transformation. Now, every morning, Marjorie opens her curtains, makes 2 cups of tea, and waits by the window. One for her, and one for Evelyn. Because in a world that often forgets its seniors, they found what truly keeps you alive: connection. And maybe that's the real secret to living past 80. Not vitamins, not routines, but people. People who make you laugh. People who remind you that you still matter. If this story touched you, don't just scroll away. Call someone you love, especially if they live alone. And if you're living alone yourself, remember this: you are not forgotten. You are not done. Your story still matters.